If I can have your attention, please, we'll get started. John Dwight, this is a good crowd. I appreciate y'all coming out. I'm sure the candidates do too, because they take the time to come and meet with us. They like to see a nice crowd, so thank you for coming. Normally we have a long flower introduction for the introduced speakers, but that's kind of the purpose of this meeting, is for them to introduce themselves to you. So all I'm going to do is to announce their names and then let them introduce themselves. And we've allowed them each 10 minutes to talk, and then maybe at the end of their presentations, we can have time for a few questions. But we'll just start with each of them speaking to us for 10 minutes, and we're doing an alphabetical order. And Steve Burke is our first presenter.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you to the parishioners of St. Bernard's for having us here today. St. Bernard's is an impressive church and a key part of our community. Not so much impressive for its size or its opulence, but for its existence as a sacred place of worship. I've prayed with you in your sanctuary, most recently during a community prayer event for the people of Ukraine. Thank you for being an important part of Bella Vista. I grew up in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I was the second of 4 brothers, all close together in age, raised by a single mom who is an amazing woman and one of my life heroes yet today. I'm 63 years old, and my beautiful wife Ginny and I have been married for 37 years. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Together we've raised 2 amazing, intelligent daughters, by far the most important work of our lives. Growing up in Pine Bluff, it would be an understatement to say that we didn't have much. And I would learn at an early age that if I was going to have my own spending money, I was going to have to earn it. So I mowed yards at 10 years old. I took on the neighborhood paper route at 12 years old. At 14 years old, I was thrilled to pump gas, check oil, and wash windshields at the local gas station. From that point forward, there was always a job in my life. I would eventually make my way to the University of Arkansas, where in 4 years at the business college, they taught me to be a computer programmer. I left there in 1981 to take my first professional job a couple hours away from here in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, which was corporate headquarters for Phillips Petroleum. For the first time in my life, I had money to actually pay bills, to live in a trailer park where I was thrilled to have my own trailer, and I bought my first used car. Fast forward to today, I have 36 years of experience in the corporate world at great companies like Phillips Petroleum, AT&T, and most recently Chesapeake Energy. Over the course of my career, I've led large teams of diverse skills, and I've had primary responsibility for budgets upwards of $10 million. During my time with AT&T, this is in Orlando, Florida, I went to school at night and did homework assignments on the weekends for 5 years so I could earn my master's in business administration. This is an important election for the residents of Bella Vista. The next mayor should be an assertive leader with management experience and a strong record of serving this community. In my 4 years on the city council, I've shown up for meetings prepared to do the city's business. Having reviewed the meeting notes carefully, having done my homework on some of the more complex matters, having talked with residents about the matters at hand, instead of just going with the flow, I've been willing to assert different points of view. I've applied traditional conservative values in every decision I've made. I've stood for community safety with strong police, fire, and EMTs so that they can respond when we need them. I've stood for fiscal responsibility, always living in the city's means and making sure that taxpayers' monies are used responsibly. That's your money. I've stood with our business community when they were having a tough time due to the pandemic. Having this front row seat on the city council has given me valuable insights into how the city operates and how we can solve problems. Let's talk a little bit about our community and growth in our community. Living in a high growth and prosperous county such as we do in Benton County can be a two-sided sword. We have the challenges that come along with high growth, but we also have the benefits. Let's talk about the benefits of living in Benton County, especially as it pertains to city finances. I have good news for you. The economic base of the city of Bella Vista is a very firm base. The big three revenue sources for the city are county sales tax, city sales tax, and property tax. All three of these primary revenue sources have increased year over year for the last 6 years. That's how long I've been watching. Generally, they increase every year in the range of 8 to 15%. We should all be so lucky to have our income increasing at that rate. Why do they grow organically? Because we live in one of the most prosperous and fastest growing counties in America. The city council has not raised sales tax or property tax in the time I've been here. The residents of Bella Vista did approve a bond with a sales tax increase to build a sorely needed new public safety facility, AKA police department, a new fire department, and a new fire training tower. But here's the point of all this. The city is in a very strong financial position. We will not need to raise your taxes for as far as we can see, and I'll put a timeline on that, for 4 years. We don't need to raise taxes. We're in good position. Even with the possibility of a coming recession, the city of Bella Vista is going to be okay. We will deliver your services and improve your services without raising your taxes. Let's talk a little bit about business and commercial or residential development. Did you know that in the last 2 years, the city of Bella Vista has issued housing permits, new home construction for over 1,200 homes? You've seen it, you see it perhaps on your street, you see it in the neighborhoods you drive. Are we growing fast enough? Let's just say we're growing plenty fast. Okay? We're not growing as fast as Bentonville, as Rogers, as Centerton, and that's okay. We'll let them run out in front. But there is no shortage of new homes being built in Bella Vista. Don't think there's any cap on this, there's any resistance from the city. The city has enabled this. If someone wants to invest commercially in Bella Vista and can acquire a location either by purchase or lease, the city's community services staff will engage immediately to enable the project. That's why in the last few years, we've seen a major renovation and expansion of our Harvest Foods, a new dermatology center built just off Highway 71, a large-scale development of a new multi-purpose facility on Reardon by Fat Tire, and a major renovation of the old American Legion building for a new restaurant, just to name a few.
2 minutes.
Got it. I'm on track. In fact, I'm going to close with these comments. This may be naive in today's world, but my vision for Bella Vista, my desire for this community, is that we will transcend divisive national politics when it comes to what we want for Bella Vista. I believe it's possible for people of differing political beliefs to want the same thing for our hometown and to work together to achieve these things. That we want a safe, clean community where neighbors look out for each other, where we can feel like our voices will be heard by our city leaders, and we have city leaders who we can trust. Not that we will always agree, but that we're confident our city leaders don't have personal agendas or vendettas against the city. We want a community where essential businesses, whether it's a small business entrepreneur or a large business that employs dozens of employees, can be successful. These are the things we all have in common. If we lock our arms together, we can have a beautiful, safe community, a place where we are proud to live the rest of our lives. This is my vision. This is my intent for being mayor. And this is why I humbly ask for your vote on November 8th. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being informed and concerned residents of Bella Vista.
And our next speaker is John Flynn.
Good morning. I'd like to thank St. Bernard's Men's Club for sponsoring this. I'd like to thank my wife, Linda Flynn, for her love and support. Linda and I have lived in Bella Vista since 2005. We belong to St. Theodore's Episcopal Church. We have 3 adult children who live in other states. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Lorain, Ohio. It's a steel town 30 miles west of Cleveland on Lake Erie. In Lorain, I went to Catholic grade school, public high school. I was an altar boy, Boy Scout, played football, basketball, baseball. I ended up playing on the varsity tennis team in high school and college. I attended John Carroll University, which is a Jesuit college in the suburbs of Cleveland, majored in economics, and graduated magna cum laude. I immediately went to Case Western Reserve Law School, which is in Cleveland, graduated in the top third of the class, and got a job right away with a Fortune 200 corporation in the legal department. I should mention when I was in college, I worked in Fruhoff Trailer, and then I worked in U.S. Steel in the open hearth and blast furnace for a couple summers after that. When I was in law school, I was a tennis pro at a country club for a couple of years. And I ended up paying my way totally. My parents helped me with college, but I paid my way totally through law school and my MBA. While I was working, I did get an MBA in finance at Case Western Reserve University. Graduated cum laude. So in my legal career, I ended up over 30 years as a corporate attorney. I was general counsel of 3 different corporations and on the legal staff of 2 Fortune 500 corporations. I actually came to Northwest Arkansas in 1996 to be general counsel of Daisy BB Gun Company, and Linda and I then moved up to Bella Vista in 2005. So after my legal career, I taught the last 10 years at University of Arkansas. I taught finance and business law in graduate school, University of Arkansas. I'm still on the faculty there at this time. However, I should mention if I'm elected mayor, I'm going to resign from that position. And a couple other things I'll mention I'm going to resign from, because the mayor job is a very demanding full-time job, obviously. So while I was teaching at the University of Arkansas, I was on city council 8 years. I was mayor pro tem 6 years. I was chairman of the streets committee 8 years. I was on the advertising and promotion commission 4 years. Now the A&P commission and mayor pro tem are chosen by your fellow councilmen. Peter Christie appointed me over the streets committee. At the same time, I was chairman of the Benton County Board of Equalization for the last 3 years. I've been on that board 4 years. And that's the board that hears real estate tax appeals. So all told, with my time in city, in the 8 years, it's been 310 meetings, and I attended 308. I'm very proud of my record of participation, and I make a point of always trying to show up. Outside activities, I was vice president and on the board of the Bella Vista Foundation for 4 years. That group has given over $200,000 to local charities in the last 6 years from the Pro-Am Golf Tournament. I've been on the board and docent at the History Museum for the last 8 years. I've been on Rotary for the last 10 years, and Rotary, during that time, Bella Vista Rotary has given $250,000 to charity. I've also been a member of Fly Tires for 8 years, and I've been on the Men's Tennis and Men's Golf Association for many years. So, you know, at our Monday forum, Randy was a little critical of our business situation in Bella Vista, and that's understandable. Steve and I have been on city council and he hasn't, so it's only natural. If you're an outsider, the logical strategy is to, you know, attack the status quo, so to speak. But the reason I brought this chart is I wanted to show you, I went back and looked at some of the data. So from 2014 to 2021, the gross domestic product, the U.S. grew 31%. During that same time period, and that time period is significant because that's when Peter Christie became mayor and I joined council. That's why I picked those years. During that same time period, Bella Vista's city and county tax grew 84%. So obviously we're doing way better than most places. And then for the city, I wanted to isolate the city only. So from 2018 to 2021, the United States grew 11.6%. Amazingly low, obviously, because of the COVID situation. And Bella Vista, city tax only, grew 42% during that same period. So we clearly have completely swamped the averages, or what most cities do. I also wanted to mention just a few of the businesses, and I apologize because I'm sure I forgot some, businesses that have started or become part of Bella Vista since January 1, 2015. We annexed the Walgreens. We started CVS, started El Poblito Restaurant. B-List Burger was started. As you know, there's been a refurbished Harps. Cafe USA was started. The Lake Point Restaurant was opened. BV Bar and Grill came under new management and obviously has way more business than it did before. JJ's on Cunningham Corner was started. The liquor store on Cunningham Corner was started. There's several new stores past Walgreens that were started, a couple title companies, River Dental. And if you, and there's also some things that were started that don't help the sales tax, but are important for quality of life. For instance, the Mercy Medical Center with the emergency clinic and the air vac possibility. That was the first one in the state of Arkansas where they had an air vac where there wasn't a hospital. Mercy Urgent Care was recently started. The Breast Center was started. Hall Dermatology has a new location. Premier Dermatology started a Bella Vista location. And also during that same time period, as you all know, we had 100 miles of trails, the beach at Lake Avalon, extension of the Razorback Greenway, the new Arboretum, and we get free trees every year from Walton Foundation. And in fact, Walton Foundation on trails, counting the couple of new ones they're talking about now, has spent $19 million plus given to Bella Vista.
2 minutes.
So the latest things that have started are the Gear Garden, Shredder's Pub, and Fat Tire are all about to start. And also, we have a new police station coming in December, a couple of new fire stations, and a new street building. All that happened in the last 8 years. So what's my vision for the city? I think we need a small hotel and a few more restaurants. But I think it's very important to preserve the lakes and trees, to preserve our natural beauty. I'd like to also see a charter school on the west side and work to increase the broadband. I think it's very important to listen to the people on an ongoing basis and do what the people want done. That does not happen enough in politics. So in summary, I want to increase the quality of life while being mindful of the cost of living. I want to be fiscally conservative and keep taxes low. And I want to support our first responders. The reason we're one of the safest cities in Arkansas is because you folks all are so supportive of the first responders. And I really appreciate that. That's something we don't want to take for granted, and we definitely have to continue. So in conclusion, I'd like to ask you for your vote on November 8th for Mayor of Bella Vista. I think I have the qualifications and background, and I'd really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Okay, our next and final candidates, Randy Murray.